Hello, welcome to Meanwhile in the Falklands. We're back in my kitchen. I just made 2 batches of popcorn, pancakes,
Nom nom nom.
which you're munching through at the moment.
As I am.
We're back in Cafe Paula.
Yeah.
Liking it.
Some of them were a bit overdone though. That was a bit burny.
It's all right. I'll get rid of it.
Okay, there we go. In fact, let's just take a photograph of that. And if you're listening to this on our YouTube channel, you can see a photograph of.
Quick before Tom eats it.
There we go. Of the pancakes. There we go. Look, I'm taking loads of pictures now. Not of me though, because I've got massive spots on my face. It's
You're
like I'm turning into a teenager. Yeah.
Teenager.
Apparently, it's a sign of young skin. For somebody in their early 40s, it's quite a surprise. Good. Well done, everybody. Well done. You tried to hold off.
I thought you were late 30s.
Anyway, I took a photograph of our office. Now, the reason we're not in our office, if you listened to last week, is because we've got this new... Well,
go on, be techno.
It's a hurricane, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Which hasn't abated. We thought it would... Oh, that's somebody's phone. It might have been mine. We thought it would go down a little bit, but it hasn't, unfortunately. So it's just too noisy.
It sounds like there's a plane taking off in the office.
It does, doesn't it? And do you know what? I think it's affecting my hair.
It's ironic considering we live in a place where planes don't take off all that often.
Yeah.
No, but I think it's affecting my hair because I think it's making... It must be something to do with the static electricity that's around it because I feel my hair is funny. So anyway, Stanley Services have very kindly said they're going to erect a wall in our office so that... children, so that we can put the machinery in one side and we can be in the other.
Yeah.
So that will be our job once we get back to the office. Kyle and I, the muscles of FITV.
Yeah, using your man muscles, and I'm going to be using my lady brain and editing all this.
Yes.
Well, my man muscles did get a workout yesterday morning, so...
Yes, they did.
Yes, you're now gym buddies. It's on my list.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Look at that segue.
Yeah, gym buddies. So how's that going? How many days have you done that?
We've only done the one, but we're...
Did you do it this morning?
We
Yesterday
didn't because
morning.
the gym's not open in the morning on Fridays.
Oh.
So we've not done it today.
So
But
therefore...
we're committing to Monday.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
We've said it on the podcast.
And
now.
by committing to Monday, what we mean is... And I'll blatantly admit this because this is what occurred yesterday morning, is we go at 7 a.m. So we go for an hour and then come home and get ready. But what occurs is Kyle gets up and then bangs on my door and goes, "Come on, Tom, we've got to go." No.
Oh, right, so you're the main motivator.
Well, I was the main motivator yesterday, but there was a long period of me lying in bed going, I should just wait for Tom to knock on my door, and then if he doesn't, then it's not my fault.
Whereas I was lying in bed going, if Kyle doesn't knock, I ain't going.
But, yeah.
Anyway, we've got a packed show this week. It is 442, and I made a fantastic reference. Stephen, you'll be so proud of me. I made a fantastic reference to football because it's episode 442. Kyle had no idea what that was all about.
I have no idea about football. I thought David Beckham was still playing. Apparently that's not true. He's also the only football player I know who isn't Wayne Rooney.
David Beckham stopped playing so long ago that he's now starting up his own football team.
Right, hang on, wait for this. Do you know what? Danny Blanchflower. Let's talk about him.
Oh, goodness sake.
You know who he is?
This is nonsense.
We'll just leave it there. It's part and parcel of why do you know all the Tottenham Hotspur chants when your husband's an Aston Villa fan. Yes.
John Carew.
He's bigger than me.
You.
It's on our toilet. Did I tell you that? In our downstairs loo in the UK, I painted it sort of this pale blue, and then in dark claret red. All round the outside, I've got like this sort of calligraphy writing that says John Carew. He's bigger than me or you. He's going to score 1 or 2. John Carew. And it's so from a distance you look at it and you think it's a pattern, but actually when you get close up it's this
almost
writing.
looks like beautiful scripture. You're like, what was written about the invasion of the Vikings? No, it's John Carew.
Anyway, so moving on from football.
No, never.
You did a brilliant piece this week, can I just say, on geocaching.
Thank you very much.
Very well done on that. Very well
I've
done.
never been so excited to be a background piece of furniture in a piece.
You did have some issues though with it, didn't you?
I had plenty of issues, more technical issues, which always seem to affect me. More audio not recording or stuff being out of focus.
What did they say about tradesmen and tools?
I'm going to blame the tools, because if I blame myself, then I'm going to be more depressed than I am.
But it was you and Tyrone it went.
Me and Tyler at the beginning of the week, out and about all day on Tuesday, filming everywhere in Stanley, getting muddy, getting into places that we probably shouldn't be.
Can we just say that, because I saw the rushes of that one, and Tyrone, who is off to do his college, he's going to college hopefully next month, he was wearing a hoodie
Yes.
and shades. He looked like proper youth.
Oh yeah, definitely.
With
definitely.
an F, he did.
So, for the listener who might not be aware, in the geocaching piece, I did have Tyrone hiding in the background with a sign with clues as to where a geocache is in the Falklands. And I had Tyrone sitting on a bench behind me and also walking behind me with this little bit of paper. And yeah, he looked peak youth with his hood and his sunglasses. So looking shady in the background.
Yeah. But then you got Mr. Longlegs over
Mr. So I've had big ears and long legs. Man, I wish we had an HR department.
If you can think of any more nicknames for Tom, let us know.
there. Yeah, please do.
Email
Yesterday we were trying to persuade Tom to start a blog because, can I tell the listener?
Yeah, of course.
Tom has handed in his notice and will be leaving FITV at the end of November.
Yes, indeed.
It's not because he's fallen out with us at all.
No, love you guys.
It's because he's going on to new pastures in Canada.
Yeah, I would like to say I'm crossing technically I am crossing the Atlantic still. I'm technically on the right side of the Atlantic, but I've still got to go a fair old way. It's because we're looking for apartments at the moment, and I was Googling the distance between the apartment that we were looking at last night and my front door, and it's 6,804 miles door to door from here. So a little bit less than the UK, actually. It's a little bit closer.
Anyway, so Tom's going off. Why did we tell you this?
For Tall Tom's Tall Tales.
Yes, that was it.
There we go.
So we wanted Tom to do some... so you haven't got a job to go to yet, have you?
No, I don't. No.
So if there are any people out there who are looking for a fantastic journalist and broadcast person, Tom's your man.
Videographer, editor, any of that jazz.
Yeah, he's your man. And I can highly recommend him. He's very good. So we were saying you ought to do a vlog of your travels, and you came up with...
Tall Tom's Tall Tales, or Tall Tom's Travel Tales.
Tall Tom's Travelling Tales.
Yeah, there you go.
I think that you start each one with "Once upon a time."
Once upon a time, in Tall Tom's Travelling Tales, he was down a trail.
I think that would be brilliant. Anyway, the other thing we were going to do this week, we were going to do a piece on vegetarianism, and that to me caused. It
caused a bit of a stir.
Yeah, I was
more of
quite
a
upset.
backlash than it ever really should have.
Yeah, I was a little bit upset. I'm not a vegetarian, but I did feel that vegetarians came in for a bit of a pasting, to be honest.
They did.
So, listener, we put on Facebook that we were looking for somebody to interview, and basically it's very innocent. It's about...
It's just about what it's like to be a vegetarian in the Falklands. Vegetables are very expensive here. So it can get really expensive and get really hard to get fresh vegetables.
It's got to be seasonal as well.
Yeah, it's got to be seasonal.
Yeah, so you in the UK there, you people in the UK. Actually, no, we've got somebody who listens in California. So, you know,
you go to California in the UK.
You go down to the supermarket today, and where are we? July, and you wanted some, I don't know, pumpkins or apples, you'd be able to get them.
Mm-hmm.
Here it's a lot more seasonal, so if strawberries are in season, you've got strawberries. If it's not, then it's tough.
Yep.
So that can be quite tricky.
And even then, a strawberry will cost you an arm and a bit of your leg.
Yeah.
So we just wanted to talk to someone about that and how they manage being a vegetarian, and everyone got kind of scared off.
Yes.
Yeah, a couple of people got put forward and someone said yes. And
sorry, that's the coffee machine turning off.
Well, yeah, a couple of people got put forward and someone said yes to us. And then it wasn't so much derogatory comments, but there were some jokes on there that I was like, well, if you tell that in the pub or amongst your mates, you get a bit of a laugh. But on a public forum, it can seem a little bit like A little bit intimidating and a little bit antagonistic, absolutely. But then there were some comments like, don't they get enough attention already?
Yeah.
Which are just outright, I don't know,
They're just attacks,
submissive.
aren't
Yeah,
they?
it's an attack, isn't it?
I mean, I'm not the greatest fan of, if I'm a big lover of tea. I love tea, but I like my tea. I like black tea with milk, cow's milk, and I like it in a certain way. So when I've been to the UK, I think it was a couple of years ago, and I went into a very sort of trendy cafe. There was no cow's milk on offer. It was only oat milk or soy milk or what was the other one? Almond milk. And I got told, oh, you won't be able to tell the difference. Yes, I will. Yes, I will. I can tell when you've boiled the water twice. I think I'm going to tell the difference between cow's milk and this mustard word stuff that you can stick in it.
And it's each to their own, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah. No, exactly.
So that's absolutely fine. So I would love, if I ran a cafe, I would have cow's milk and I would have oat milk and I would have almond milk. Because James Page, who used to work for FITV, he used to have almond milk in his coffee. And actually, that was quite nice.
Because
that
it's
little
naturally
nuttiness.
a little bit sweeter,
sweet,
isn't it?
Yeah, so you didn't need sugar with it.
Mm-hmm.
So I could totally understand it, and that's absolutely fine. And if that's your choice, or you're doing it because of a medical condition or whatever, that's absolutely fine.
But yeah, all we wanted to do was find out the practicality around it. How practical is it in a place like this to be a vegetarian? And I think people got scared off.
Yeah, I think.
And one step on from that was being a vegan down here. It'd be lovely to find somebody who's a vegan down here and how they cope. Because even from the 10 years that I've been in the Falklands, I've noticed you can actually buy almond milk here. You can buy oat milk and soy milk and things like that.
What I was wondering is if you can get tofu. Can we buy tofu?
I think we can. You certainly buy corn.
Yeah.
There's a lot of corn products in the...
Might be able to make your own tofu.
But
Make my
anyway,
own tofu.
if you're listening to this, actually, Emily, I think you were a vegetarian in the Falklands. If anyone's listening to this and they are a vegetarian or a vegan and have been down in the Falklands, if you could please get in touch and say, how did you cope? What your favourite recipes were? Cause,
I'd love to have a chat with you about it. Definitely.
There's nothing nasty about it at all. There's no underlying...
no agenda.
And the concept and the idea behind this story did come from that latest study talking about being a vegan and vegetarian save the world, and that is where the idea of the story came behind. But that's not the angle we're taking.
No.
We're not looking for a philosophical and a scientific debate over whether you should be and trying to impose views.
Exactly.
It's just someone who actually does it. And it was even like a pescatarian. When I talked to them, are you pescatarian because you actually can't be vegetarian down here? Is that the reason why you take on fish as well? Or
And I think, am I right in saying this? Too much red meat is bad for you anyway. Yeah. Even down here, where our red meat is very good, and very pure kind of thing, it's still not good to have that kind of red meat diet. And it is a Falklands thing, isn't it?
It's so difficult to not have that red meat diet. When I go into the shop and a salmon fillet will cost me £5.25, but I can get a gorgeous rump steak for £1.80, and it's
not really a competition, is it?
Yeah, it's like. And I have to defrost it and I have to deal with it, whereas this is there and I can literally make it in 2 minutes and it's a fraction of the price.
Yeah.
It's really hard. It's very easy even to just have a red meat heavy diet right down here because, as you say, the quality of it's amazing as well.
We might even take it from a different angle perhaps, because I have heard there are quite a few people in the Falklands who've got vitamin deficiencies. And that's something that's sort of starting to grow, particularly vitamin D.
Mm-hmm. What?
Yeah.
Is that just not going outside
Just
enough?
not going outside enough.
It's too windy and rainy.
So therefore people just stay inside and get... No way.
Yeah, way. Look at me.
I mean, keep an eye on Falklands in Focus over the next few weeks.
So you may get from the other way. Anyway, so the funny thing was, there was somebody who replied to us and used some emojis, one of which made me giggle like a child.
Yeah, an unfortunate choice.
Well, I would like to say anyone over a certain age, when they start using emojis, and certain emojis are used, I was very proud of you for pointing it out, because I was like, you know what? I'm not making the reference. I hope the listener right now is completely on board with what we're saying here, because I refuse to say exactly what we're talking about. Yeah. But there was a certain legume.
A particular vegetable emoji.
Yes. Anyway, moving on from vegetables, look at this. Listen to this one, right? Moving on from vegetables, we have now got our data drive back up and running, and we found a load of cooking stuff.
Oh, yes, we did.
Yeah.
A lot of it
Killing
cooked
me
in this
segues.
very room.
And cooked in this
Yeah.
very room. So we've got James this week cooking paella. For the
Was it paella? Was it in the end?
eagle-eyed viewers will see that in the teaser and in the queue, we said here's James cooking in the kitchen or cooking something for
Something for a cold winter night.
yeah, because we have two. We have him cooking chocolate, a chocolate cake, which is about 7 minutes, I think, and cooking paella, which is about 5 minutes. And then it was all dependent on how long the programme was as to which one was going to go in.
It's kept
So-
it deliberately ambiguously vague.
Yes, just in case. Anyway, and also I found a previous head chef of the Malvina House Hotel, Matt Clark, cooking toothfish pate.
Is Matt Clark the Michelin one, or
I don't know. But anyway, he's currently in somewhere in Yorkshire.
okay?
And he was down here. The sound is not brilliant because it was filmed on potato cameras.
Potato cam.
But it's a fantastic recipe, and he's very quick with it and stuff like that.
I say I never got the chance to meet him. He left literally just before I got
Oh,
here
really?
a couple of years ago. Yeah.
No, fabulous chef. He talked to us about being a vegetarian in the Falklands because he wasn't a vegetarian, but obviously as a chef,
But yeah, he would know.
he would
yeah.
know. Let's get James on board
Yeah.
Oh, we could
on
yeah,
that same thing.
Absolutely.
Let's get James on board.
What does
Anyway.
he think by going through the shops? How practical do you think it could be? And to be fair, someone like James, who is such a great cook, we could probably get him on
Get him to
board,
do-
give him a bit of notice, and we could do a piece. Like James Picardo does 1 week in the life of a vegetarian in the Falklands, and get him to be a vegetarian for us for a week, and we can film him cooking some stuff and going off and this could be amazing.
It's growing now, isn't it?
Yeah,
silly.
Yeah.
it's spiraling rapidly out of control.
Listen to this,
The next thing you
listener.
know is Tom's going to be a week in the life of a fireman.
So listener,
I was
they
talking
are.
to Lee about this last night, actually.
FITV as it happens. Look, it's like you're in a
Yeah.
production meeting with us.
You need to get a kitchen installed in the studio and just have a little. There we go. Have a little cooking segment.
Yeah.
We just need an entire building that has a cooking
Yeah.
section, a studio section, an
Yeah.
edit section. FITV need to evolve.
One day. One
Yeah.
day. Anyway,
We
I've
need to
got.
become a Charizard
looking
or a
at my
Charmander
list.
at the moment.
I've got Tyrone Youth in hoodie, emojis, vegetarians. We found cooking. Hurricane in the office has. Sorry, I'm not wearing my glasses either. Has not abated. People Paula should not follow on Instagram.
Oh, because you got that weird bot that tried to follow you on Instagram.
Do you think he was a bot?
I think he was. He looked suspicious.
He was a very good-looking bot.
Yeah, they always are.
It's
though.
funny that.
Yeah. So what
The
makes you
ladies who follow me on Instagram always tend to be very attractive, so I'm not really sure
So-
they're real.
So, as somebody who's like up on that kind of thing, how do you know it's a bot?
Well, he from memory of what you showed me, he only had 4 pictures on his Instagram, and his name looked.
I can't remember what his name was. now.
There was like 2 emojis in it, and the name didn't really seem like it was the name of anything.
It wasn't Rob Ott.
Yeah, it wasn't. It didn't seem like it corresponded to anything that someone might actually choose to have their name as Instagram on.
Right.
And it all just looked a bit kind of, hey, we've quickly found these 4 pictures of someone on the internet, put them on this Instagram account, and now we're gonna pretend like they're the follower. So
It's all really dark.
Yeah.
I don't like it. So
the
have you got
internet's a dark, dark place.
have you got ladies?
I was looking for them. I don't normally accept the follow requests,
My
but they're not there anymore.
my boyfriend Connor, shout out.
Hi Connor.
He listens to the podcast actually.
Does he?
Yeah, every week.
Aw.
Wagwan cons.
His Twitter was hacked by a bot and started posting all kinds of indecent images and indecent captions.
Of him?
Oh
Or
no, of some lovely woman who looked to be about 23 years old, but the bot was called Bertha, so I don't know.
Oh, it was.
How bizarre.
Yeah. And he had to-
Would you make any money out of doing that? So it's not that I'm thinking of changing career or anything, but I mean, what's the point of doing?
well, it's like if you're hacking into people's accounts, you're getting a bunch of information about stuff that you can probably sell on the internet.
oh yes, we did
I
a piece on
don't
this.
see
Yes,
that
we
one,
did do
yeah.
a piece on this.
Plus, you can, if you've got one of those, because when a bot goes out, it will just post stuff like every hour or every 2 hours or something like that, and it will have all these links. And if you click on one of them, then you'll get redirected to something else, and then that might put a virus on your computer, Or it might be that
okay.
you'll go to their website and then they'll get stuff from the advertising and blah, 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 blah. And additionally, with the way Google works, sometimes people have bots that like, if you say you've got a web page on Google, the way Google categorizes what appears at the top of the web page is about how many things are linked to that page.
Search engine optimization.
Yeah. So if you hack 20 different Twitter accounts and constantly link to that page, then Google will be like, oh, this is popular. Lots of people are linking to this, and it will put it to the top. So let's say then if you go onto
That's like a whole level of maths, isn't it?
say then if you go and search for, I don't know, just an example, because it's in front of me, for butter.
But with cheese in it.
Yeah,
So butter.
Butter. If you go search for butter, the first link you'll find it will be scam butter instead of actual butter.
Do you know what? We had somebody used to work for FITV, and on their webpage, they had somewhere in the webpage download free movies. Or she tagged download free movies. So that if that's what you did on your search, her website would come up even though it had nothing to do with it.
That's really smart because everyone's
everyone's
looking
searches
for that.
Yeah.
But I was going to say, I've got a Twitter account. Please follow me. It's at Rita_Seagull.
Self-plug.
Oh no. Well, I've got to think about the retirement.
Shameless.
And I had a bot follow me, which I let them do because all they did was just retweet it. Because I think my name was Rita Seagull. They thought I was something to do with birding, and it was a birding feed. So everything I tweeted, they just automatically retweeted, but they don't do it anymore. I think they've unfollowed me. Shouldn't I feel awful?
Yeah, the bot doesn't
and
even
sad
like
that
you
the
anymore.
bot doesn't even like me.
Yeah, essentially.
It might have been deactivated.
The
or
killer robots aren't
turned off.
Aren't feeling you anymore.
Yeah, I did have somebody who did a whole rant at me in massive capital letters. And I replied to them, why are you so angry? Are you lacking in zinc? And then they shouted back at me again. But, it's like, well, that was the joke. They tried to make a joke about something. No, mine was the joke. That was the end.
Yeah.
I blocked him. So.
Yeah, well, as we will discover in the office, Mrs. Foames does get the last laugh.
Yes.
I do not. But anyway.
But anyway, I'm getting the last word.
So we went to see. We've all been to the cinema.
I know.
You've not seen it yet.
Yeah. So since my last week trip to the cinema, I'm going again on Sunday, but I haven't seen.
What are you seeing Sunday?
Green Book.
There you
The
go.
Green Book, not
Oh.
the Green
Wrong
Room,
all
or the
week.
Green Mile, or the Green Lantern. No.
Okay.
Isn't it?
Green Book.
Second week of Cinema Corner.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
But you guys went to see something else, and you have very contrasting
Yes.
opinions about it.
Yes. So let's.
Right.
Do you want to moderate the conversation?
Yeah, but I also want to be swayed.
Right, well, I'm going
whoever
to-
delivers their argument the best here convinces me whether I should see it or not.
Well, I'm going to give out some spoiler alert because we will be talking spoilers
Yes.
on this. Both.
Spoiler.
Just so you know, we're talking about the Lion King.
Spoiler.
Yeah. So Carl and I both went to see The Lion King. I
Spoilers.
wasn't very keen to see The Lion King because
No.
it's not my favourite movie at all, and I don't know what all the fuss
That's
is about.
just 'cause you don't like
I've
Hamlet."
seen it now." No, I don't like Hamlet either. You went to see it.
I also went to see it. I saw it the weekend. With a whole group of us went to go see it, and I was not a fan, but
But you're a big fan of the original?
yeah, like I like the original. I like all the songs from the original, but I've not watched it in years.
Okay.
So I don't know if I don't like it because it's like that's not how I remember it, and how I remember the film is wrong,
Oh, okay.
or if it's because I don't like this film because it's not as good as the original one.
So you liked the original but didn't like this one, whereas you weren't the biggest fan of the original, but how
No.
did you feel about this one?
I liked it. I thought it was really good, and
Did you like it more than the original?
Yes.
Oh.
Hats off to Disney because there's one bit in it. Here is the spoiler alert. When Simba and Nala are trying to get back to the Pride, they decide to send out the warthog thing
Timon and Pumbaa.
as bait. And who's the little meerkat thing?
Timon.
Stands on there and does this whole be our guest thing. Present to you your dinner. Be. And then all the hyenas come. And it is absolutely hilarious.
In fact, that is a funny moment in the film.
It is brilliant.
It is good.
And let's call it Fred. So I don't remember that in the original either. So I think they've upped their
But there was
comedic
There was
gags.
a great moment. That baked moment in the original film has one of my favourite Lion King songs. And can I say it without
Don't sing
copyright? Yeah. So it goes, if you're aching for some bacon, he's a big pig. You can be a big pig too. Woo! And then he's doing like a whole little hula dance, and the hyena's like, what's going on over there? And then they chase them away.
Yeah.
But Timon's doing a little. He's got a lei on. And he's got a little leaf skirt, and he's doing a little hula dance on top of Pumbaa.
Okay.
And it's like, if you're aching for some bacon, which it's a really good moment.
I feel like the original one is more imaginative than this one. This one is very kind of.
Does it try and be more serious?
It's not even that it tries to be more serious. It's just that it tries to be more real.
Okay.
Which isn't
the point, because we've got talking lions here.
like in the original animation. I think is it I Can't Wait to Be King? Yeah. In the song I Can't Wait to Be King, there's a whole dance sequence where all the animals are getting involved, and then there's this whole bit where like the ostriches and the giraffes and the elephants all make this big tower that Simba stands at the top of.
It's almost like
I just can't wait to be king, and it's like,
almost like an LSD moment.
Yeah, and it's
something you like coming straight out of a Hunter S. Thompson book.
And it's like obviously that's not realistic, but they're using the visuals to express the idea that hey, I'm going to roll over this, and it's really fun and really enjoyable. And then in the new version, it's just kind of him walking around the watering hole and being like, I'm going to be king, yay. And it's like,
Do you think
there's none of that.
There's none of that energy to
show
it.
business element.
There's no imagination to it. It's just kind of, hey, we're some lions like you'd see in real life.
Because I feel like they really retained that magical and sort of showbizy side of things on Beauty and the Beast. I think like they managed to really retain that original feel to it. So you're thinking,
but then
this
I think
doesn't really do that.
I think with the Beauty and the Beast animation, that is a lot more. The animated film is also very realistic because it's like, hey, this is a woman and she's going to the castle and blah blah. Whereas the Lion King, they had, because it was all animals, they had license to be like, and now we're going to put the warthog in a hula skirt, and we're going to make everything shades of red and orange and yellow and blue and all green and all sorts. Whereas I felt like lots of this film was just beige yellows. And then even when they went to the jungle, it wasn't particularly colourful or interesting.
Well, it's a shame because even on like the realistic element here, like if you look at the film The Life of Pi, one of the like cinematically, I think The Life of Pi is a glorious film to watch, and you have that moment where he's trapped out in the lifeboat at sea in the night, and you've got the whale breaching, and you've got these fantastic colours coming up at you. And I think like even with animal films like that are supposed to be a little bit more realistic, you do have that license to play with colours. Seems like a bit of a shame that they haven't done that, because that's one of the key traits, key characteristics of the original film.
But they utilised the fact they've got copyright on another film to bring that in, and that for me was a lot of.
What do you think of the storyline itself? Because you're not a huge fan of Hamlet, which
I'm not a huge
essentially
fan
what
of
The Lion
Hamlet.
King is.
It was fine. Again, spoiler alert. It was fine until it wasn't fine. I found it boring up until he went to the jungle and Timon and Pumbaa come in, and then for me that made it much better.
Oh, and the whole build up to again spoiler alert, but the death of Mufasa and because you were telling me about the death of Mufasa in how it compared between the original film and this one. For you, it was very different.
Yeah, I felt again maybe I'm misremembering The Lion King, the animated version, but I thought the plot in this was a lot of. I came out of it going, okay, the person that made this film, someone walked up to them and went, here's 4 screenshots of iconic moments from The Lion King, and I'm going to vaguely tell you what the story is as I'm leaving the room. Now make the film.
Do you know what I find that about Mary Poppins Returns?
Yeah.
I think Mary Poppins Returns did exactly the same thing. Here's some key elements of the first film, recreate them, and that's that.
Because it's like, the death of Mufasa in the animated one, I mean, particularly for people in our generation, because we would have been kids when that came out and watched it and we're like, oh, Mufasa died. But like
I still haven't got over that. It's the reason I drink.
But that's such an iconic moment of seeing Scar digging his claws into Mufasa and leaning in so close and saying, "Long live the king," and pushing him off into the wildebeest below. Whereas in this one, Mufasa, you don't get any of that tension. He kind of grabs hold of him, says, "Long live the king," then punches Mufasa in the face. and then Mufasa like drops down into the wildebeest, and it's just kind of, it doesn't feel as dramatic, it doesn't feel as tense as it did.
Funnily enough, as realistic.
It just didn't have the drama that it should have. I don't think.
Okay.
And even like.
What about the moment where, and this is dissecting the film scene by scene here. So
this is great.
Should we just have a film podcast?
We will stop in a second. But what about when Simba goes down and finds Mufasa amongst the wildebeest after? Because that right there, like that's still in my mid-20s watching that, it's heartbreaking. Young Simba like trying to wake his dad up when he won't.
Let's just
But like how was that in that
they
film?
Didn't really. I don't know. It didn't feel like a big moment in this. At least for me, it didn't. It just felt kind of like, I think they were trying to go through the film too quickly, and it ended up being like Scar. I don't know. Like Scar got there too quick to tell him to run away, or there wasn't enough time or enough drama there for you to sink in. Hey, Mufasa was this really important character that's just died. Simba has to deal with that and is now being told that it's his fault and he has to leave. Mm-hmm. It's just kind of like, Mufasa's dead, Simba, run, and then Simba runs away. And it's like...
Yeah, the pacing.
The pacing just feels weird.
I wonder if we go back and for you especially, considering I haven't seen the latest one, if you go back and watch the original and realise that it was like that, but having seen it as a kid, you have a different perception of it. So if someone young watching this one now will view it in a very similar way to which we view the cartoon.
That's what I was saying. Like, I don't know if I'm comparing it to the actual animated one or my memory of the animated one,
which could always be rose-tinted glasses.
Exactly.
But can't knock anything on the animation, I guess.
The animation was great. I thought the Alliance faces could be a bit more expressive, but other than that, the animation quality was pretty good.
You, Mr. Pixar. Anyway,
if I was at Pixar,
when I was watching it, the one of the trailers was for the live-action Mulan. That looks really good.
That looks
and
so
I've
good.
not seen the original cartoon.
Have you not?
No, so and I'm
great.
not going to. I'm going to watch the.
Again, that's got some amazing songs in it.
But that's the thing, in the Mulan, they're not having any of the songs.
What?
But what I'm really hoping is that they're not going to do a Lion King of just, hey, we're going to try and shot for shot remake this. Instead, I hope that this Mulan is going to be, hey, this is based on the actual legend of Mulan and not the, hey, we've tried to make the Disney Mulan into live action.
Okay, yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah.
I could get down with that. Because, I mean, is it Muju was the name of the little dragon?
Yeah, because the dragon's not in it, in the live action.
Yeah, because that was Eddie Murphy, and
Yeah.
no one could come back, much like no one could come back and be Mufasa like James Earl Jones could be. I don't think I could watch Mulan with a little comical dragon sidekick that wasn't Eddie Murphy.
It was voiced by Seth Rogen or something.
Yeah, well, exactly that. It's like doing a remake of Shrek and having someone else as Donkey. It doesn't work. Yeah. Donkey's Donkey.
Okay. Right, well, that's enough from
Movie Corner.
Movie Corner.
Get your ukulele out. Ding, let's get away from the movies.
Yeah, we will one day. That brings us to the end of actually what I had on the list. So, and I didn't take a picture of next week's board, but I think it looks fairly bare, to be honest.
Yeah, it's not looking the most imaginative at the moment.
We are filming a little trailer for the cinema down here.
I'm doing a promotional video for Stanley Services.
You're doing that?
To try and show, like my brief was, make the boring part of the company look sexy.
Okay.
So good luck with that.
Yeah, thank you. Really excited about that one.
And I can't think what you're doing next week. I threw a few things at you.
Yeah, I'm looking into sheep shearing and.
Of course, it's your first summer down here, so
Yes.
you'll get to do all of the things.
all the sheep.
It's one of the things I love being into the job for a few years. I was like, well, I've done that, so you're the new person. You've not done any of this.
Yeah.
You do your own take on this story. But it's also one of the great things about FITV is that you go through the seasons and there are similar stories year on year, but having a new person come in, you always have a fresh view of it. And I think you arrived at the perfect time coming in April because you've managed to sort of learn the ropes over the last few months and you're sort of developing your own style now, and now you can apply it to the summer season, which, let's be honest, has far better stories than the winter season does.
I did say to Carl yesterday, I want you to do this piece on either lambing or sheep shearing or something, but I want you in front of camera, piece to camera with 2 lambs underneath your arms, doing your presentation.
Pulling your jacket down.
Oh yeah, check
which
that
is a
out.
reference to geocaching, so
Yeah.
make sure you go and see that.
Have a look at that in geocaching. I did take some bloopers from this week's news from us reading the news, but they won't be shown until you leave.
Well, I think, and some of them, Kyle must have some in the raw rushes of geocaching. There are some quite comical bits.
Let's pull those out. Let's pull those out.
I think, I'm going to start paying more attention to putting off the funny things I do now. Although it's going to be, what did Tom do for the last 2.5 years? Oh, who knows?
No idea.
God knows.
Anyway, that comes to the end of this podcast. We have rattled on, and if you're not a lover of films, then I'm sorry about that. We'll try and give you something else next time. A little reference to sport there for you, Stephen, and Emily, don't forget to get in touch with us about being a vegetarian. If you are listening to this podcast, you want a little shout out, give us an email, engage with us. Tell us,
give us a call, to be honest.
Tell us what you're doing and what you're doing when you... No, do we need to know? No, I don't think we do. Let's not go down that road. Anyway, week 442 is this week's programme with cooking and geocaching and all sorts of stuff like that. On Squinty McGee. Light straight in the eyes.
I could not see anything during the court report. I'm surprised I was able to read it, to be honest.
My shadow makes an appearance.
Yes.
I feel like I'm essentially in the background of all your pieces.
It was first year journalism, basically, wasn't it? Squinting straight into the light.
I had to, because if I was any further back, you couldn't read the teleprompter. Shock, guys, we use a teleprompter sometimes. Spoiler alert.
We don't get it all done in one take.
Anyway, that is the end, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.